to another episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, hello, broads.
Hi, broads.
Bachelor broads.
We're back.
We're back
Batch broads.
in Batch Broad recap action. We're just doing the damn thing. Is that what's going on, B?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, last week we just didn't even do whatever. Who needs Shawn Lowe's season anyway?
Sorry, Shawn.
I don't know. I didn't watch it, actually. I shouldn't even say that.
Oh, really? It was a very good season, but I got to be real with you. Kaitlyn Bristowe's season was one of my top 3 seasons, so I was looking forward.
It truly is one of the best of all time.
There's just so much drama and like crazy shit that hit the fan, and like the shaming that went on, and the 2 women starting from the top, and so many things that I was angry at ABC about.
Now the thing I'm realizing though is that wait, whose season was Kaitlyn on?
Kaitlyn was on
Shawn's?
Chris Soules.
Chris Soules. Okay,
Yeah.
Obviously they're not going to cover him for obvious reasons.
Various reasons, yes.
But I am kind of disappointed because it seems like they're just kind of doing the last 10 seasons. Or do you know what I mean? I don't think they're actually doing
I know. Well,
their greatest of all time is just the past 5 years, it seems.
When they were showing clips from Colton's season. I'm like, are we going to rewatch Colton's season?
They can't be.
I'm like, come on, ABC. We just watched it. And also, don't do that to Colton and Cassie. They just broke up. Lord knows. That's going to be just not fun to have to rewatch post a breakup months before.
I know obviously there's more important things to talk about. We didn't even get into that. Weird thing is I was going through their Instagrams 2 days before their breakup announcement. You know, I do that periodically with couples.
The casual scope,
Just
sure.
gotta check in.
And I was touch base.
I was like, interesting. Last photo posted together was for promotional coffee with Colton. Obligatory couple post, interesting.
I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that they broke up. You know, my
shade at all to them.
No, my condolences to both of them. You know, I just didn't necessarily, as time went on, after he put the book out and certain responses, I just felt it just didn't necessarily seem like it was going to
what do you mean about the book
forever.
out thing?
No, it just he put the book out and I didn't feel and then he kept talking about how much he loves Cassie and how she helped him in so many ways. But it didn't feel and I know that it's not always about that passionate love.
It
that's
didn't feel
not
the passion wasn't
But I
there.
didn't feel that there. And again, sometimes that's not what's always important. But it made me kind of feel this might not end up
Well, I think maybe
lasting.
beyond, I agree with the passion thing. I also just feel maybe the connection was lacking too.
Right. They seem like they might be friends
different
for the
people.
rest of forever. They'll probably be lovely with each other for the rest of all time. But I don't know. I mean,
they both seem really nice. I just think that they're not, I don't think they're, I think they just weren't each other's forever person.
I wonder if we'll see them
Sad.
on a future Bachelor in Paradise. Who knows?
Oh shit. I didn't even think about that.
I could see Colton going in for around 15.
You know, I'm going to bite my tongue because maybe I did say I never want to see Colton on my screen again. But I don't feel like I felt that way after his season.
No, I think
I don't
you
feel
and
I felt it over him.
We started in reverse. We were we can't believe he's the fucking Bachelor. Are you kidding me? And we were throwing things. And then by the end of the season, we were we like him. We like the way that this wrapped up.
I would watch him on Paradise again. I actually would.
Me too.
Is that crazy?
You know what? I love when they bring back. I love when we get, round 12s of people. I'm not one of those haters who's oh my gosh, I've seen them so many times again. Sometimes, they're not my favorite, but it doesn't bother me. Yes.
Okay. Well, what's hilarious though is that I was on Almost Famous last week with Ben and Ashley.
Yes.
And I made some joke about Ben being on every season. He was like, well, I don't think that's going to happen again. But he must I think he must have been thinking I was talking about as a contestant because here we are. It's not even like it wasn't even like his season is next week. We're gonna watch a whole nother episode with him, and yet he still had an appearance somehow on Kate, like on this recap.
We were like, listen, we're a little thrown off that you didn't show up in the flesh on a Hannah season, so that was a little weird. And we're like, maybe he's fizzling out. Maybe he's not going to be the new Chris Harrison. And all of a sudden in this episode, he's just like,
back, baby.
You're going to rewatch my season next week.
Which I'm excited. But do you see what I mean? Like, I feel like they're doing just all the Bachelor seasons. Like, how many episodes of this are they doing?
10, I think.
See, Shawn, Kaitlyn, Ben, then who? I
think they're going to do
Ben.
I think they're going to do JoJo.
Oh yeah, they're obviously going to do JoJo's.
Yeah.
And then after JoJo was Nick, right?
Yeah.
They're obviously going to do Nick's season. They're obviously going to do Rachel's season. And then they're going to do...
So they're just doing the last
Then
few
they're going to
years.
do Ari's season. That's what I'm saying. They're going to do all of...
I love that it's called the greatest of all time, and it's
That's
literally
what
just the most recent episode.
That's what I'm saying. Wait, hold on. I got to go through this real quick. Sorry, everyone. Shawn, Kaitlyn, then Ben, then JoJo, then Nick, then Rachel, then Ari. Wait, if there's 10 episodes, then after Ari, Becca, then
Colton.
Then Colton.
Then are they going to do Hannah's?
Give me a break.
I bet they'll wrap it.
Maybe it's 9 weeks.
Maybe the final one will be they'll do like Trista's or Tristan, or I always forget. I feel bad.
Who's that?
The
I didn't watch
original
it.
Bachelorette, and they're still together. So she's like the OG Bachelorette.
They did show a clip from Allie's, so maybe they will like jump back to
maybe
Allie's.
yeah. I
don't know,
They're
but
going
it
to do
seems like-
Allie's. They're going to do
Oh,
Allie's. Okay. They're going
Okay.
to. So they're going to be bouncing all around.
I thought for a second it was literally going to just be the last 4 years of The Bachelor. Anyway, speaking of The Bachelor.
Speaking of The Bachelor, hey, broads, we officially have a Bachelor, and we officially have the first Black Bachelor in the franchise.
This is very interesting. Actually, it's kind of a bummer. We were going to have 2 Black Girls, 1 Rose to come on and commentate today about Matt James as the choice for Bachelor. They're unavailable for vacation reasons, but next week they're going to come on and we're going to get their thoughts on Matt James, and then they'll also recap the recap for next week for Ben's season.
Natasha and Justina are fantastic.
Not, but they will be.
Yeah, we'll see if you have the little ones or not. But Natasha and Justina are fantastic, and yeah, we really want to get their input because they've touched
This is
on
something
it a
they've been
little
talking
bit.
about for a long time.
They are one of the original Bachelor Recap podcasts, and they have been talking about this from the beginning. So yeah, I'm very excited to talk with them about it, but next week. But yeah,
our thoughts.
Yes.
Now it's interesting because when I text you about this, I was like, why do I still feel, I think I said something like, why do I still feel like pissed? Why do I still feel pissy about this? Like, why doesn't, I don't know. I felt weird. How did you feel?
So I felt a few things. Number one, I'm very excited to see Matt because from everything, like the little that we know, he seems like a fantastic person, and he's involved in like so many awesome like charities and his work, and he just seems great. So I'm super excited to see him. I'm so happy that they finally have a Black Bachelor, and I have to say, shout from the rooftops at Batch Diversity, because those people got shit done so fast. For years, people have been like, why isn't this happening? And Batch Diversity said, we are going to make this happen, and bombarded ABC. So major props. I did feel a little weird because it felt so obligatory. Like they got so many people from like in general, and also so many people from the franchise calling them out for it. They had Rachel Lindsay being like, I'm removing myself from this franchise if this doesn't change. And all those pieces that what I would have wished, and like I said, I am super excited to watch Matt, but what I would have wished is that we watched Claire's season, and maybe they would have come out with a statement and said like, we're sorry. we've been doing this wrong. We're going to check out, like, we're going to make sure that our staff is diverse. Our producers are diverse. We will do better. And then organically have the Bachelor be someone that we meet on Claire's season, which might have been Matt. And then they can choose a Black Bachelor or, a person of color and like just happen organically, not just be like, we got this big, like all these signatures coming at us and then we're going to be like, oh, fuck, here's someone. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So this is, I want to read a screenshot from Rachel Lindsay's Instagram.
Yes.
Which I felt like she summed it up pretty well, kind of what you're talking about. And I think so she said, congrats to Matt James. I'm happy to see that a Black man was cast after 18 years and 40 seasons. That's crazy. That's a lot. Wild. She said, I believe is a step in the right direction. I would be remiss to not point out that based on the current climate, it feels like a knee-jerk reaction and a result of societal pressure. This announcement, without any further commitments regarding diversity, sweepingly brushes deeper issues under the rug. Until we see action to address the systemic racism within the franchise, the casting news today is equivalent to the trend of posting a black box on your social media account without other steps taken to dismantle the systems of injustice. I look forward to hearing more about the additional efforts the franchise plans to make towards change. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, they responded back pretty quickly. I mean, who knows if it was really directly in response to Rachel Lindsay, but I don't know if you saw a lot of producers and other people. Actually, I think all the producers posted this. We are excited to move forward with both Matt James as the new Bachelor and Claire Crawley as the new Bachelorette. We acknowledge our responsibility for the lack of representation of people of color on our franchise and pledge to make significant changes to address this issue moving forward. We are taking positive steps to expand diversity in our cast, in our staff, and most importantly, in the relationships that we show on television. We can and will do better to reflect the world around us and show all of its beautiful love stories. So,
we'll see.
I mean, that was a nice response, and we'll see what happens. But I think it's great because now the whole audience has this sort of like account. We're all holding the Bachelor franchise sort of accountable for these promises that they made.
And I feel like the response being like, I'm happy, but like also like that, it feels obligatory. Like might sound exactly what Rachel Lindsay said, I think was the perfect response to it. And I think that's probably why you and I, when we first got the news, it's like you're happy, but it also, like she was saying, feels obligatory. But glad that they put that statement out. And we will continue as a broad squad to hold them accountable as we move forward in the future.
I mean, I do think it's a bummer, like you were saying. I mean, I only know what I know about Matt from Tyler's Instagram. So like,
I know. I wish
we don't know him.
I know. I wish we would have been able to get to know him on Claire's season.
And that's what Rob Mills said too. He's like, we were discussing whether or not to have him on Claire's season and then announce him as Bachelor. And like, this wasn't because of the pressure that was put on us. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no. But it bums me out. What I really hope is that they then make an effort, like maybe throughout Claire's season, to show us clips like Matt at home, like maybe
what Matt's been doing while we're filming Claire's season.
We have a segment of what's Matt up to, like at the very end of each episode, and we zoom in with Matt and we get to know Matt a little more because they
might do something like that.
I hope they do because I would like to get a little more emotionally attached to Matt before the season starts.
Well, maybe they'll cover Hannah's season and maybe they'll introduce Matt through Tyler on the recap of Hannah's season.
Interesting thought.
But that's still such a recent season. But it looked like they were going to because, hello, Luke.
Hello, Luke.
All over the previews.
Do you think that if they recap that they're going to get a hold of Luke to talk?
I pray.
Dear Lord.
I pray. But what was I going to say? Well, Claire didn't really want Matt on her season anyway, based on what she said on her Twitter. So like maybe it all worked out.
It didn't seem like it was going to go well. But I also think I am confident that he would have come in night one and said to her, at least again, from like the things we've seen of Matt via all of his social media presence, is that he'd go up to Claire and be like, listen,
Here's the deal.
It was all donation. I was taking all the money and donating it directly. I'm sorry if that offended you. I'm here to get to know. I'm just sure he would have just would.
Sorry if it offended you, bitch, dumb bitch.
They already have me under contract to be the Bachelor anyway, so I'm just here out of obligation. Okay. Bring it on.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how this plays out, but I am really excited.
I'm
super
super excited. I'm super excited. And that means that maybe we'll get some Tyler, our Lord and Savior, maybe popping around. We'll get a little more Ty in action.
He's not my Lord and Savior anymore.
I know. Ryan from Listen to Your Heart has become my Lord and Savior, to be perfectly honest. But
what else do we have to talk about? Oh, can we just talk about real quick how... Oh, wait, no. Should we bring this up when... Oh, by the way, Nick's coming on the second half of the podcast. I almost forgot.
We are going to be joined by Nick Viall.
None other.
Of course, we have to have him on when we're discussing KB's recap season because, I'm sorry, it was almost like a half and half. It was the Nick and Kaitlyn love story that we watched.
Oh, I love it. I loved it. I loved it.
Becca, I forgot, and we'll get into this, I forgot how unreal their sexual chemistry was.
Dude.
Like, they had, like, it was real and it was there.
I can't wait to talk about it. It's going to be so much fun. But let's get into the recap of this recap because this is one of my favorite seasons as well. So I'm excited.
Yes. All right. Well, before we dive into this recap, and I love the way they even set it up. I celebrated watching this. I had a good time rewatching this.
It was like 45 minutes too long for me, but I
could have gone without some of the interviews.
Oh yes, like I didn't need Hannah, Ann, and
the Maddie thing.
I didn't need Claire and who was that other person?
Deanna. I don't think I never watched her season, so I'm not sure.
It was all a bunch of fluff that was so.
Yeah,
I didn't need Ben.
I mean,
no shade, Ben.
No shade, Ben. But we're gonna see you next week.
Yeah.
You know?
There was a lot of that where I was like, I don't get this. But anyway.
Overall, I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we get into that, broads, plain and simple, uncertainty sucks. That's just how it is. From the time I was young, I have been a planner. I like my ducks in a row. But the world is anything but certain right now, and that can be really hard. And if the current state of unpredictability is causing extra stress, trust me, I get it. I think everyone does. That's why we're so excited to tell you all about Talkspace, the online therapy platform designed to help you get through anything life throws at you.
I fully believe that just talking through things can be massively helpful in certain situations. I definitely feel that personally. And everyone deserves to have access to that kind of help. So Talkspace Online Therapy matches you with a licensed therapist from the comfort of your own home, and you'll be able to start your sessions instantly. And after you've matched, you can reach out to your therapist 24/7, so the help you need is always available, and every message you send is secure and private thanks to Talkspace's commitment to using the latest technology, so your info is safe no matter what.
Not only can you send unlimited messages to your therapist and they'll engage with you at least 5 days a week, but it's unbelievably affordable. 1 month of Talkspace costs about the same as a single in-person session. Therapy should never be off limits because of money or time, and everyone deserves to share what's on their mind and get the help that they need, and Talkspace makes that possible.
We all need to talk to somebody sometimes, and Talkspace gives us the support we deserve at a price we can afford. You can match with your perfect therapist at Talkspace.com or download the app. Just use promo code CHATTY to get $100 off your first month. That's Talkspace.com, promo code CHATTY.
Okay, well, B, I don't know why it is, but when I hear fast food, I'll just typically equate it with unhealthy food. Like, for some reason, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm speaking for all the broads. I have no idea. But in my head, it's just that order that you think that a meal has to be carefully prepared for hours ahead to be nutritious. And this couldn't be more incorrect, okay? Case in point, all of the amazing options available from Daily Harvest that are healthy, delivered to your door, kept fresh in your freezer, and are ready to be eaten in just a few minutes whenever you are ready to enjoy them.
Daily Harvest is an absolute godsend around my house. I just got a box in last week. I got an extra big one. prepping for postpartum.
Yes.
They've got so many options across a ton of categories: smoothies, harvest bowls, soups, oats, flatbreads, and they have something called scoops now.
Oh,
which
girl,
is,
tell them about the scoops.
Guys, the strawberry scoops, holy cow, delicious. If you can believe it, tastes better than real ice cream. None of the fillers are refined sugars, and it's also made out of, I think they're all made out of coconut cream. Absolutely fantastic. It's perfect when you're craving something sweet and refreshing. I've gone through like 2 or 3 cartons of it in the past week.
They are so good. Personally, my favorite right now is the vanilla salted one. And there's there's ashwagandha in it, okay? And I think in the strawberry one, there's probiotics. Like, you're having these delicious creamy treats that also have things that are just making your body.
There's like no garbage in it. I was going through the ingredients.
I could not believe it. It's you can't believe that it's healthy because it is so decadent. I've got more than a few tubs in my freezer just like Beck right now, because you never know when that late night sweet tooth is gonna hit. And of course, desserts are great. But like I said, I first fell in love with Daily Harvest because they do deliver the most delicious, clean food right to your door. Everything takes minutes to prepare instead of hours for a healthy meal. And you can count me in on that. And also, again, so many options now. They used to just have a few. They have endless amounts of different options. I feel like
they've switched up some of their bowls too, because I tried one the other day and I was like, wait, this is somehow even better than when I first tried it like a year ago.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah, they're like constantly improving and adding new things.
If I did a fridge tour right now, you would be like, oh, Daily Harvest is the only thing in there.
Yep. Okay, so you can go to dailyharvest.com and you can enter promo code CHATTY and you're going to get $25 off your first box. I've used the promo code myself. It's promo code CHATTY for $25 off your first box at dailyharvest.com, dailyharvest.com. And like we've said before, also makes a fantastic gift.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
All right.
So this season.
So first and foremost, what I would like to just take note of before we dive into the actual season is just the setup of these Bachelor GOAT episodes. Chris Harrison is sitting.
It's so absurd.
It is the most absurd thing I've ever seen.
His son standing there. Grayson's like, why is he there? What is that kid doing there?
He calls his son out and he's like,
cameraman.
My one cameraman, Joshua. And Joshua is in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. And he's just like, Dad, stop. You told me you'd pay me a couple extra bucks for this, Dad.
He's just standing.
Why am I on camera? We're in his home office. There are bundles of roses that are set out in little clumps at the corner. Chris Harrison's book is prominently displayed over his left shoulder.
What's hilarious is they're acting like he set this up. Like 100% they had the camera crew and some of the art department come in to stage this. It's not like they're being like COVID compliant and him and his son were setting it up themselves.
It's like if you believe that there is if there is one person with Chris Harrison in the room and it's Joshua, you know what then you believe? You believe that Joshua, and I'm sure he's very talented, but Joshua then is running all those rigs. He also has the screen going so Chris Harrison can read his lines, and there is a whole crew in there, and it's just ridiculous. I love to picture.
It's hilarious.
I love picturing Chris and Josh setting it up though. I do love that idea.
It was truly absurd.
Chris is like, Josh, put your mask on, go to the grocery store. We need a bundle of fresh new roses, okay? Let's set them out.
Ridiculous. Also, yeah, there's always something with the intros, you know. It's like he was talking about like 2015 as if like a time capsule, like in 1972.
He said Hamilton was the biggest selling musical, and Caitlyn Jenner introduced herself to the world.
And later on, he said something too. Like it was something about some internet trend where he's like, everyone was planking. I mean, that wasn't it, but it was that kind of thing.
He said everyone was debating whether the dress was blue or yellow. It was blue, by the way, or blue or green or whatever it was. It was just like, who's going rogue on these cue cards?
Stop.
For real. Tell Chris to stop improving.
Stop. The first memes rolled their way out onto it. Like, what? Stop.
SpongeBob. SpongeBob got the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards that year.
Also, why didn't they instead of having Josh, they should have had Lauren Zima in like something slinky behind the camera.
Oh, what a missed opportunity. What
Right?
a missed opportunity.
I know.
I'm sure Lauren's pissed about that. I'd be like, come on, give me my
I'm pissed about
time in the
it.
sun. Come on. Well, anywho,
Kaitlyn season, that, you know, I have to say it just came flooding back to me as we were watching it like it was yesterday. I remember I was in college. I mean, I still am, but I remember with being in one of my friend's studios and we were working on a project together and we would talk about it like every week. We'd be like, so like,
oh yeah, girl, I
remember it all so clearly.
I was pregnant watching it.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it was something I'd look forward to every week. And Evan and I watch it. And Evan watched that season with me because he watched the second half of Chris Soule's season and was in love with Kaitlyn. And so we were team Kaitlyn. And when they did us dirty and they started this season with 2 bachelorettes, I remember that first episode being so anxious. I'm like, get Britt out of here. No shade, girl.
I did not remember how truly fucked up it was until like watching it back this time. I could not believe it. When he like broke it to Britt, when Chris Harrison was like setting it up for so long and then tells Britt, you're not going to be the Bachelorette. I would throw myself off the roof of the mansion if that was me. I mean, that was insane. I couldn't believe they did that to her.
Also, hey, ABC, you know what's even more fucked up? You're going to do this nonsense to these women, and then you never reciprocated and did it to dudes, okay?
Right.
It's like, seriously? You're going to have the 2 women, and the men had to come out of the limo and choose which direction to go to?
They should have put Nick and Ben on the on the next one and then crush
Seriously?
Nick again.
Poor Nick. Oh, God. But seriously, that all of a sudden that was when I remembered that they never did that with the guys, and I'm like, are you kidding me? You're gonna make the women go through that, and then you're not gonna make the guys feel like shit.
It's also just absurd to me because like I don't know Britt. I didn't watch was she on Chris Soule's too? I didn't watch Chris Soule's season.
Yes.
So but it just seems so obvious that they were going to make Kaitlyn the Bachelorette, and I'm sure they just rigged it up perfectly where they said it was like 1 vote off or something like that. And it's like they knew, obviously the producers knew who they were going to have be the Bachelorette, so it's just such a horrible game to play.
It was also just I remember watching that first episode and being like, okay, Britt's like the consummate pageant girl. Like that was just her.
Yeah.
And it was so exciting to see Kaitlyn be one of the options because Kaitlyn was funny and genuinely goofy. It wasn't like the typical like, I'm quirky, and you're like, no, you're not. Our typical, no, you're not. She was quirky and funny and fun and like sparkly, and it was exciting to be like, oh, we're gonna have a different type of girl. And then they have her lined up with Britt, and you're like, am I gonna get the pageant queen again?
No, they're just going to crush her on national television.
No, they're just going to devastate her publicly. Horrible.
Cannot believe.
I couldn't believe they didn't interview her either. I'm like, that's even shadier.
Me neither. I know.
You're not going to catch up with this poor girl after you devastate her?
Okay, so highlights early. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about all things Nick with Nick because that was, like you said, the second half of the episode.
Of course.
Basically.
Yeah, broads, this is going to be an interesting type of recap because obviously, if you watched it, as you know, it was all over the place. So it's not possible to literally recap like the season. But we can talk about highlights.
Like we said, I don't really care about the interviews. I mean, even with Hannah, Anna, and Maddie, they didn't give any good tea on like their opinions on Peter and Kelly. It was very diplomatic, very good, very well done, very beautifully done, beautifully done, ladies. But also, like, I wanted her to come for Barb. I was really hoping for a. I know. She was basically like, I mean, what she basically said was like, I reflected on it, and like she was just doing what she thought, and I was like, oh damn, okay, you're a bigger person than I am, that's for sure.
And then Chris Harrison was just like, well, last week Barb came on and was just literally just doing a Kelly chant. So how do you feel about that?
Which I'm really bummed I missed.
I know.
Might go back and watch it just for that. But yeah, didn't care about any of those. Now, some things from Kaitlyn's season. for some reason in my mind, I always remembered the JJ and Clint situation being somehow with Nick involved.
You thought that Nick was like part of their duo? It was a trio?
I remembered like JJ. I was getting really confused, and I was like mixing it up. Like in my memory, I was like mixing it up with Andy's season, and I was thinking that JJ and Nick were best friends.
Oh,
I don't know why.
Oh, you forgot about
and I forgot Clint, aka Heath Ledger.
Yeah, Clint reminded me of like JPJ's evil twin brother.
Clint was actually really sexy.
He was so hot. I forgot about how hot Clint was.
Me too.
And what a raging asshole.
Okay, no, wait, but who threw... I remember all those scenes, and they were cracking me up again with their bromance. It was killing me.
It was one of my favorite parts of Kaitlyn's season.
A villain's got a vill. I totally that game. I remembered it so vividly once they said that. I was like, oh my God. I
remember him also, and maybe my memory is serving me incorrectly, but I remember him being in a robe frequently. Like I feel like Clint? was often in a robe, and was also doing like kind of a menacing laugh with a drink, walking around all the time.
I don't think you've created that memory. Okay. I definitely sort of like ha 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 ha, like this villainous
with like a dirty
kind of
martini.
Air. Yes, I don't know if that's created, but I have the same thing. We're going through the same experience.
Clint has rich parents, offshore accounts. Clint has been on many yachts.
Okay, but JJ, what a snake.
The dirtiest dog that's ever existed on the franchise, perhaps?
So I remember, okay, so I was getting everything all jumbled, and I remember watching it back. They didn't really talk much about JJ throughout the rest of the season, like throughout the rest of the recap about the season, but JJ went fairly far, and I remember being like, you know how that happens sometimes where someone will be the most villainous the first 3 weeks, and then they kind of just gloss over it, and then they make it through like most of the season?
Yes.
That happened with JJ. And there was never, like, the truth never really came out about what a snake he was, like, to Kaitlyn, you know? It was crazy.
He was the dirtiest. Like, he was so car salesman-y, like,
the fact that he threw Clint under the bus was insane.
And Clint was devastated.
Oh,
and
devastated.
Then JJ, though, was crying when Clint left and, like, hits his fist against the wall and is like, son of a bitch. It's like, it was literally
the one
like the
that
scene.
Got away.
It was like the scene in Old Yeller where he has to like shoot Old Yeller behind the shed and he's like sobbing. It's like he had to put down. It's like he felt like he had to do it just to continue to have success in Kaitlyn's season.
It was seriously like a Brokeback Mountain moment, you know, where he's just like, oh, what's the line from Brokeback Mountain where he's like, I can't quit you. And with the Heath Ledger vibes, you know? It's
yes. I mean, JJ is no Jake Gyllenhaal, but you know what?
No.
It's fine.
That was just craziness.
It was such a pleasure to relive that. And what now I feel like, you know what, actually after watching this recap and seeing those moments, I want to go back and rewatch Kaitlyn's like full season because I want to see how JJ gets kicked off. Like I don't remember certain
That's what I'm saying.
pieces.
JJ just sort of like fades into the shadows and continues on the show for like 5 more weeks. I swear that's how it went down.
It was
and
crazy.
I was, like,
JJ just
confused.
like turned into a bat and like flew off into the night. It was so weird. Like one
So
episode
weird.
he just like evaporated. It was so bizarre.
Wasn't he on Paradise then?
Oh,
I think he was.
I think he was too.
I don't really remember.
I always mix up him and the Canadian.
Who's that?
God, I always forget his name. But he's like super like, he's not very smart. And he always says like the wildest shit. I'm
no idea who you're talking about.
The broads are gonna bombard me, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm blanking on his name or what season he was on. But he was like, he's super douchey, was always like in a Speedo and had this crazy body, and he was such a tool, but somehow for some weird reason you kind of liked him. Or maybe that was just me.
I feel like I'm going to know who you're talking about. Like, I feel like when I hear the name, I'm going to know it. But
You'll
like,
know exactly who it is.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I'm going to find it. It.
So there was that. Also, what it was interesting to note going through all these different, or seeing all these different guys, is how many of them are engaged or married now and like within the franchise.
Yeah.
But just going through it, like, well, Ben's not, but Ben's engaged, not to somebody from The Bachelor. Tanner's married to Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Jared's married to Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
Who else? There was one or two, I swear there's one or two other people where I was like, damn, these are like,
I mean, Kaitlyn and Jason.
Well, yeah, but I mean like guys on her season. I was like realizing like how many like solid OG Bachelor guys were on her season and like really continued
she had
to play a big role in the franchise.
An excellent cast.
She did.
So some of the main guys on Kaitlyn's season, obviously, like you said, there was Ben. We were introduced to Ben. Can we talk though about the scene where they have the sex ed scene with the kids?
Oh my God. You mean when he started it out about two people being in love?
And how first you're in love and then you become intimate.
This disturbed me because he said that he was a sex education minor before this episode. And I'm like, wait, he started out with being in love as like, that's how sex starts. And then there was something else he said.
First you fall in love and then you decide to like make it physical. And I was like, Ben, not for all of us.
Oh, and then he said when the egg and sperm meet, human life begins at that point. And I was like, oh my God. There seems like there's a lot of personal beliefs being added into this conversation.
He also pulled up Kaitlyn and made her the egg, and then he made himself the sperm.
I know,
and he's
so like, you guys are going to create a child? Then you guys are a baby?
Like, and then I, the sperm, come shooting towards the egg. I'm like, where are the costumes? I need physical representation. Oh no.
Oh my God.
I was crying so hard. And I'm like, this was the moment when when America saw that Ben would forever be a host involved with The Bachelor, because granted, whether or not you believed in the certain things that were coming out of his mouth during his sex ed talk, so he perfectly created The Bachelor. Like, he somehow brought Kaitlyn and their romance and their date into this sex ed conversation to children. And he put it so delicately and romantically. And I was like, Ben has forever been the perfect Bachelor host.
He really needs, did he already run for some sort of office? He really needs to run for some sort of office.
We should send him a letter.
He's just got this whole like diplomatic politician thing going on.
I could definitely see
really dig
Ben becoming maybe a senator later in life.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
A congressman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ben for Congress.
Yeah, I can 100% see that.
Yeah.
At this point, I'll back him. Go for it. I support you. I endorse you. Where does he live? I don't know. Anyway, so... And then that blonde guy, too. I forgot about him.
Are we talking about...
He was sweet.
Are you talking about Joshua?
Yes.
So, I was not a Joshua fan.
I can't... he ended up looking real bad, right? Shit didn't play out well.
This whole season... Okay, so, and I know we're going to talk to Nick, but this whole season, I remember during Andy's season, I couldn't stand Nick, okay?
Yeah. And
then he comes back for Kaitlyn's, and at the beginning I'm like, oh no, not Nick. And then the way that all the guys treated him and the way how coolly he handled it ended up making me fall in love with Nick during the season.
So I didn't quite have that dramatic of an arc with my feelings about Nick, but I do remember with the breakup, which we will of course get into this, I do remember being like, oh fuck. And then I remember being like, we'll talk about that with him. I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
But people with characters, I like to call them characters, with characters like Joshua, it was like, I remember liking him at the top. And then the guys,
then he ended up getting pissed at her about bringing him back on.
He just couldn't, and numerous of the guys couldn't get over this whole Nick concept, and they ended up just not looking their best because they just got so caught up. And you know who it reminded me of? I was like, oh my gosh, Nick became my Alea. Like, I never liked Alea, but then when all the girls were ganging up on Alea, then I was kind of like, I think I like Alea. Like, just because
fuck those bitches.
It just wasn't fair. And I didn't think that, you know, the reaction, I understand being week 4 and getting tweaked about it, but like, you know, and I felt similarly about Shawn throughout it. Like, I had a major crush on Shawn, thought he was just, you know, what a gorgeous human being. And I thought throughout the season, I would have ups and down moments, like in the way I felt about him, because sometimes I was just like, dude, just stop, get over the Nick thing. Like, it was just, he couldn't get past it. And it just,
I know.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember, yes, exactly, rooting for Nick sort of villainously in a way of like, well, fuck them. Like, I don't think I actually really liked Shawn or really liked Nick, but I was rooting for Nick because, yeah, I agree. And watching some of it back, I was like, oh, like, you didn't make yourself look so good, guy, to some of the, I mean, Ian, what the gaslighting that was going on with him and was crazy.
I forgot about Ian. That scene was
too
wild. That scene was wild. He came for her so hard.
And so, like, unfairly and so just judgmental, like, mansplaining about what kind of person she was and just,
I forgot how much I appreciated. And, you know, I feel like then we saw that same candor with Hannah during her season. Maybe that's why Hannah and Kaitlyn kind of had a parallel track to me, is Kaitlyn was so, like, forthright the whole time with the guys. And so I love, there was that scene when she took Clint out for the first date, and then in front of all the guys, she called Clint out and was like, well, you haven't been talking to me at all. I know. And I was like, I loved that about her, because it was that same Hannah Brown energy, just saying it like it is and not having any questions. Like, there were no questions on the table ever with her. Yeah. And even with the Nick piece, then when she later, you know, ends up sleeping with Nick and she's so forthright about everything. And I'm like, you know what? She really didn't have to say anything.
I was thinking the same thing, especially after all the conversations that we had about both Hannah and Peter. I mean, we've had so many conversations about that in the past couple seasons. I know. And I was sort of like, well, good on her. Although I think people would have, can you imagine the audience would have freaked out if she didn't tell them.
Yeah. It was one of those things
more so
where
than they already did.
I know, and you remember how hard the audience flipped on her, and the amount of slut shaming that was happening.
I do think that, like, well, I think a big part of it that people freaked out about, what didn't help her, was how her and Nick ended. Because and I do want to talk about this with Nick, because there was, like, I was so on his side during the breakup, like, so on his side, and I think that did not help her at all. Oh,
okay, well, hold on a second, Becca, because I'm seeing on our little zoomy zoom that Nick himself is dialing in. So we're just gonna get all the tea from him. We have to finish up this recap with him. I'm so excited. I
mean, we have so much to talk about with all that. Did we miss any? I don't even feel like we missed anything.
Girl, we missed a shit ton, but we're gonna get into the important stuff. This is what matters. This is what we care about. Okay,
we don't need to talk about them sumo wrestling or, like, Jared.
I don't need to talk about all the assless men on the season.
Oh, I know.
Like Jared and Ashley, that was an awkward little interview together. God bless, love both of them.
That was awkward.
I felt really bad for Ashley that she had to sit there. I love her so much, and I
know she was also, like, trying to be like, it's not awkward, but then it was awkward because she had to say it wasn't awkward. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Oh,
but
you know what?
I love them anyway.
Before, sorry, Nick, you're going to have to wait for 1 second. You're going to have to be held up in the Zoom for just one quick sec. Before we talk to Nicholas, here's the thing. Depending on where in the world you live, things might have already opened up, or maybe they're just starting to, but a lot of us are trying to eliminate unnecessary gatherings or outings whenever we can. However, some errands are just unavoidable. For example, the post office Or is it really? Well, thanks to stamps.com, you can now do everything you would normally do at the post office right from your home.
Yes, the post office is no longer an essential business for me because I can do it from home. I love it. With stamps.com, you can print postage on demand, skip all the hassle of going to the post office. You can just use your home computer to print official U.S. postage anytime for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. Plus, on stamps.com, you'll save money with discounts that you can't even get at the post office, like 5 cents off every first class stamp, which adds up, and up to 62% off shipping rates.
And if that wasn't enough, stamps.com also offers UPS services with discounts up to 62% off and no UPS residential surcharges. This is my favorite new stamps.com feature. I mean, it's crazy. That's a lot of money saved on UPS packages and services because those prices can get really hefty. So it's a no-brainer, especially right now as we try to ease our way back into society, make things easier on yourself and safer on those around you by eliminating unnecessary errands. If you've moved your office to a home office in the last few months, trust me when I tell you stamps.com is an absolute game changer and will save you so much time in the long run.
And right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. You just go to stamps.com, click on the mic at the top of the homepage, and type in CHATTY. That's stamps.com, enter code CHATTY. And then enter Nick. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to see you, ladies, as always.
Nick. Hi, Nick. What is it like to be back, on the big screen again? How are the feelings?
It's great, Let's get those follows.
I was going to say,
the followers are exploding. The Viall Files is going off, okay?
Listen. I think my breakup with Kaitlyn was my best TV moment.
It was devastating.
I'm not going to lie to you. It made me like, there were tears watching it again last night.
Nick texted me and said you're going to cry.
I absolutely crushed it. I crushed it.
That was an A+. That was an A+
It was an
breakup.
A+ breakup. I fucking crushed it. In fact, I was texting with Kaitlyn last night, and obviously we're in a great place from a friendship standpoint. And I was like, listen, I know I've mentioned this to her before, but I was like, listen, I just want to say thank you for letting me because that was the thing back then. I was so fucking pissed at her. Like, how could you let me take it that far? You waited to the last moment. And thank God she did, because it really gave me an opportunity to say what I said, right?
Nothing could have made you look better.
And even after she broke up with me, as soon as she was like, no, and I was like, just kidding. I remember just wanting to be like, I just want to fucking leave, right? All right, cool. I'm just going to go. There's literally nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I want to talk about it. And she just kept fucking saying that she was in love with me. And I was so mad at the time. So mad. I was like, why are you making me do this? And again, thank God she did. It was actually a really great gift she gave me, because had I just been like, all right, peace, it wouldn't have been the turn that I had. So
no, and we were just talking about this because we were like, Jess and I were like, oh, we didn't like you from Andy's season, but then seeing all the guys, the way they treated you got us watching the season, 5 years ago.
They were dicks. They were
assholes.
You watch it back. They were such babies. Well, I just don't like it. It just doesn't feel right. He had it.
There were no reasons. There were no solid reasons.
Zero reasons.
I was comparing it to Alea a little bit. I was like, I didn't like Alea going into Peter's season, but then all of a sudden, when all the girls were being so mean to Alea, I was like, I think I'm in love with Alea, and that's a little bit what happened, except to an extreme version with you and on Kaitlyn's season.
Well, also they were low-key shading Kaitlyn too, because there were moments where they were like, aren't there plenty of girls out there? And I'm like, so you're saying that Kaitlyn's just...
Well, not only that, but if there are plenty of girls, then why the fuck are you guys here?
Exactly.
Go home.
Hypocrites.
You're just like, there's plenty of girls, but I'm here for they were literally saying backhandedly that they were here for their 15 minutes and they didn't want me to be there for my 16th.
Right.
Like, let me have my 15 minutes because
I know they're like, I don't trust someone who goes on a reality show twice.
yeah,
That was like they're
you trust them once. Like,
Oh, so
fuck
you guys are all going to say no to Bachelor in Paradise is what you're saying, because then it's just all bullshit, right? If you go on a second time.
No, it would, so I mean, all jokes aside, I think I thrive in this recap. So I'm, other than my hair, like the walk down memory lane for my hair, I don't understand what I was doing.
This looks way better.
What sucks about that is that I spent so much time fixing my hair back then, and it truly looks like I woke up and was like, fuck it, I don't care.
But you did have a glow up mid-season. Did you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, you look way better than Andy's season.
That was the beginning of the glow up, right? Like,
but even
also,
mid-season, all of a sudden, you were like in the middle of Kaitlyn's season, and I was like, he's getting hotter, and he's getting hotter. And like, it was yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I truly wasn't planning on showing up for Kaitlyn's season. So I was living in Chicago.
Wait, really?
Are you being serious?
Yes. I don't know this. So yeah, give
no plans. No plans.
Not that I thought you were scheming. I just thought
even as the filming started, like they were on dates and I was watching it being like, oh, well, that sucks. She's going to get engaged to one of these assholes. And
That's
then
crazy.
12 days in, they called. Like this whole reference to these emails I sent,
yes.
It's just kind of funny, is that for me, reading the emails was funny because it was literally a timestamp of like my thought process from the moment they took her phone away to the time I got a call saying, do you want to meet Kaitlyn? Literally, like the last email I sent her was, I got a call from Milan. They're probably going to ask me about Paradise. And that was, see you when I see you kind of thing. And so like these emails are a little timestamp of like what my brain was thinking from the time, like, again, she went off the grid to me, like writing her being like, well, it sucks. I miss you. I wonder what it's like for you. Just kind of like, it was like a diary of my thought process.
How many emails are we talking here, Nick?
Like 6 or 7.
This is like a Hillary Clinton moment, like release the email transcripts.
But it was just more of the, again, it was fascinating. It was a timestamp, right? And so,
also, it's a timestamp on 2015. Why the fuck were you guys emailing?
Well, she was off the grid, and so emails get sent.
It's romantic.
If I text her, you never know, like if they're going to go through when she turns on her phone, kind of thing.
Oh.
So I was emailing.
And
how
also,
did you guys
don't
get in contact in the first place?
Do you remember Kelsey from Chris Soul season?
No, I didn't watch it.
I DM'd Kaitlyn. I was like, you seem like a reasonable person. Is this person actually crazy or just like an edit thing? And that was my first message to her. And then we just started chatting.
Nice DM slide.
Yeah.
But also it really wasn't like, I thought she was cute, but I really wasn't like, I want to start talking to this chick. I was honestly curious about that person. And,
she also
Kaitlyn,
seems like such an approachable person off the season,
She also seemed like she would be the most honest with that assessment. Was my take. But like I said, I wasn't like working out and getting in shape and like, prepping for the season. I wasn't tanning. I was pale. I was always in decent shape, but I wasn't like, it was like in Chicago in the winter, you don't really work out. You're like,
you
fuck
weren't
it.
TV ready.
I wasn't TV ready. And so you see my glow up like transform, like I'm getting some sun, I'm getting some color. It was the first time I like, fuck it, I grew a beard. I think I was just trying to like morph into Shawn, slowly.
Let's see if this is going to work.
I
was like, she seems to like this guy. Maybe I'll grow a beard. He has a beard. I don't know. I'll try to confuse her.
Wait, can you talk more? Okay, wait. So when you actually went to meet up with her, did you know you were going to be on the season then?
What do you mean?
Like when you ran into her, was that kind of already confirmed that you were going to be on, like, continue on the season?
What do you mean by ran into her?
How did you guys on the season,
Like at the end?
Yeah, like, once I said, I want to meet her.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try to come on the show, right? I mean, there was the whole, like, I mentioned this on my very first podcast of the Viall Files of like how Kaitlyn called me in the hotel and I snuck over and we all like shot the shit and stuff. And that was all a surreal thing. But once the filming started, like on that date you saw on the recap, it was like, that's my first time I met Ashley I. She was on this rap battle date. And Kaitlyn had no idea I was there. Even the night before when she called me, I didn't tell her I was in New York. She was like, you should come on the show. I was like, okay, I will. And I was like, there. I was across the street. And I didn't tell her.
Whoa.
And then she's like, well, I have to go. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk to you again. I'm like, it'll be fine. We'll figure it out. Knowing that I'm going to like surprise her. Like,
okay, so this is an added layer to her being like, oh my God, Nick's here. Like,
when she was like, oh my God, Nick's here, she was like thinking, I talked to him last night and told him to come.
That makes sense. The amount of giddiness that was happening when you see her off camera after first bumping into you was just like, this is a very real moment. Well, that just adds to the whole feeling of serendipity. I'm sure that you felt like, oh my God, all the pieces are falling into place.
Yeah, I was very caught up in the rom-com of it all. Yeah.
That is kind of magical though. For a Bachelor season, like that's very serendipitous. The whole thing. It
was surreal to get to New York, go to bed, be very nervous about doing the thing I was about to do, and not having any contact with Kaitlyn for, at that point it was like 13 days since we had last spoke, knowing that like a lot can happen in 13 days. Who knows who she's connecting with, and then get a call from her and yeah. And you know, it was just, I was like, oh God, thank God I came. Imagine, cause it was like, I always thought to myself is, what if I chickened out? What if I got the call, got the opportunity to go, and was like, you know what? I can't fucking do it. Like, I don't have it in me. I'm too, like, that last Andy season was too much. I'm not going to do it. And then being nervous about like, well, what if, you know, Kaitlyn, you know what? We talked and I had these feelings, but I don't fucking know. And I just chickened out. I would have just been so mad had like, I got that call and then knowing that I've been like, I opted not to come. That was fairly surreal, but yeah, my glow up, that definitely, you saw it towards the end. I even like cut my hair a little bit, so it was a little even tighter on the sides, not full on, but early on I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my hair?
I'm curious about did you ever like make any kind of peace with Shawn? Like, and what was that dynamic like during filming? Because Shawn was fucking pissed. I was like forgetting how truly passionate like so many of these moments were on this season. It was crazy. Yeah,
I think that's why the season was so good, because
so good.
Truly
one of the best.
There was real animosity between Shawn and I, and it all came from a place of sincerity about like how we felt about Kaitlyn. You know, not to justify how we acted, and I wasn't, you know, thrilled with how Shawn handled me showing up, but then I ended up, you know, being just as guilty with kind of feeding into the immaturity of it all. And I think that's just what made the season so good. I mean, I've always said like the number one reason why Hannah Brown's season was so entertaining is because Luke was a real villain and she really liked him. She wasn't like, I'll bring this guy along because he's good TV. Luke S was Hannah Brown's favorite, and he sucked.
Luke
and that's
P.
what Luke is it Luke? Oh, I'm sorry, Luke P. Sorry. And that's what made it compelling, because you saw real emotion. It wasn't like, oh, you know, because sometimes you see that where like the lead's like, okay, you've ran it. Like
Crystal on Ari's season. Like, Crystal did not have to it was every time he'd give her a rose, he was like, Crystal, and something died in his eyes.
Yeah, you saw Ari kind of be like, all right, you know, here we go. And with Hannah, you saw real conflict. You saw like
and she didn't want to hear what the other guys had to say about him, like, and you know, because she did like him and she didn't know oh God.
Yeah.
That was good.
So as far as Shawn and I mean, like, I don't really have a relationship with the guy. You know, I don't feel any animosity towards him.
Was there ever any conversations or anything?
No, I mean, shortly after Shawn and I did this fundraiser, he reached out to me and I was like, yeah, sure. And like, it seemed fine. And put it this way, we never became friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it seemed Kaitlyn and I's friendship definitely blossomed after they broke up. No,
I was going to say, when was the first time you guys connected after like...
It was shortly after they broke up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't talk to her after?
Not like right away. It wasn't like they broke up and Kaitlyn and I called
you slid into the DMs again.
No, in fact, I think she said something about me that irritated me, and I was just like, "What the fuck?" And then finally, she reached out and she's like, "Hey, I'm sorry," and then we just kind of became friends.
So you guys didn't talk after the final rose?
No, the first time Kaitlyn and I talked at all about anything is related to the season was 4.5 years later.
Shit.
So that was
That's
kind of crazy just because I think that it was a real intense experience for both of us.
You guys were real exes is kind of the vibe.
Yes and no, but that was certainly a very real experience we both shared. And we certainly had our own perspective on the experience. And regardless of where you are in your life, like to connect with to reconnect and like talk about it is, especially after you ultimately don't really give a shit, is kind of a really fun, and it's not even so much therapeutic as it was kind of fun to go down memory lane and be like, yeah, you know, and not really be emotionally invested and certainly frustrated about anything like that. Again, I look back and like I have nothing but great memories about
that season. Was crazy though, because she really did have so much chemistry with like both you and Shawn.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think you and Shawn are just very different people, and it's just like the season, I don't know, I can't say it enough, the season was just crazy.
It's one of those things where I think Shawn was more definitely her type, and I think she had a more, which is why I think she picked him, right? She probably had a more comfortable connection with him.
Mm-hmm.
And with me, I really had an advantage, right? You could say that I had such an advantage because we talked so much before and we had a chance to connect on an emotional level and have conversations that most people in that world just don't get a chance to do. There was just such a connection there, right?
And your proposal part felt really, I mean, I don't even feel like I have to ask you. I feel like that was really real for you in the moment, and like I
was fucking pissed.
The commitment. But it also seemed like you were ready to genuinely commit too, to like getting engaged to each other.
Yeah,
and
listen.
What the fuck?
I basically decided if I was gonna like take another leave of absence from my job at the time and show up mid-season, knowing that these guys were going to initially hate me, and you know, like. There was no way I wasn't going to do that and not be all in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you two, and I didn't remember this until watching, the chemistry was pretty insane. Now, granted, when I was watching this initially, the first time, I was pregnant. So I was so horny, okay? But I remember watching the episodes with you guys and being like, this is a lot. Like, I'm sweating watching this. I mean, was it one of those things where it was so clear that you two had the most chemistry out of everyone? Like, I know obviously she had her intimacy with Shawn and they were connected, but it just felt like sexual chemistry between the two of you guys.
Oh, are you talking about like watching back or when I was filming?
No, I'm talking about when you were filming.
Well, when I was filming, you know, you only see really your relationship, especially towards the end. And I was supremely confident.
You have no idea what's going on virtually with other people's chemistry at all until you watch the show back. That's true. Then you're like, oh, there was someone else.
you hear me say it in the recap, you know, because I was the runner-up in any season, I was at least self-aware that was like, I'm incredibly confident, but I'm totally aware that I don't know what's going on the other side. So I just didn't know. And I I acknowledge the possibility that, and like I said, by the time it aired back, regardless of the chemistry that they showed between Kaitlyn and I think it was pretty obvious that she was just a little bit more drawn to Shawn.
Well, and the only thing that I'm going to pick apart is I remember watching it and I loved Kaitlyn's season and I loved her as the Bachelorette, and I wasn't your biggest fan, but when the way that the breakup went down, I remember I was like, I was so furious with Kaitlyn, and I was telling Jess earlier, I was saying like she was getting slut shamed, but I really didn't think it like the breakup with you helped anything, because then so many people I think got polarized and pulled to like your side after the breakup, because it was so gnarly to watch, and I remember watching it and you being like, no, you don't feel the same way, because if you did, we'd be getting engaged. And I remember being like, yes, so true.
Well, it's so Kaitlyn did such a huge, it was such a gift of Kaitlyn to, I mean, again, I was so mad, and I was texting Kaitlyn last night, and she was watching it. And so like, it was just, commentary about, hey, thanks. And she goes, I felt like a monster. I'm like, oh, no, I called you a monster. I definitely called you a monster. I thought you were a monster, but it wasn't really, like, hindsight being 2020. It was such a gift. Because how many times do you have a breakup, right? When then the person breaking up with you is like, no, I'm in love with you, and you need to believe that. And the other person's like, what? Huh? And so here I am being dumped, convincing her that she doesn't love me. It was fucking gnarly and wild.
Oh my God. I thought I was going to go into labor watching it back in the day.
Listen, I don't think I'll ever say anything cooler in a breakup where she goes, it's how I felt in the moment. And I just stop and go, what I felt for you was greater than the moment. Like,
that was a mic drop.
And they literally dropped the music. Even the editor was like, hey, no need for music. Let's just let that marinate.
By the way, we're friends with the musical, what the fuck are they called?
The composers.
The composers, yeah. And I was talking to them about it, and they go, it's a good TV moment when there's no music. There's nothing required. That moment speaks for itself. That's what they said. So you're 100% right.
Yeah, those music people really fucked me over the years. I'll say that much. You even watch it like on this season, on this recap, where like it was the scene where Shawn had just found out that Kaitlyn and I were intimate, and then Shawn pulls Kaitlyn aside, right, talk, and she's like, hey, listen, I mean, I'm sorry but not sorry. And Shawn's like, I'm not gonna. So she calls Shawn, she gives him a rose, and like there's this inspirational music of Shawn not ready to quit on Kaitlyn, and then she calls my name. And then immediately the music turns to dun 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 dun, dun like some like
villainous.
Wait, what the fuck?
Like sexy tango villain music.
Yeah, it's like, wait, what?
Villain's got a vill.
But yeah, so they like to oversimplify.
So
what are you gonna do?
Okay, so on the season, you have all the guys were hating on you, but now some of them are your best friends. When did this shift?
Oh yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that, and they didn't even show this on the season, even after I did that whole like firing squad where I walk in and all of them
yes
are from the other side. As soon as we like were done, honestly, most of the guys were like, hey man, sorry about that. Like Jared and Ben and Tanner were all actually really friendly from the get. Some of the other like non-important guys, like one of the guys that night, his name was Corey. He took one of my suitcases and put it in the shower.
What?
Yeah, what a fucking dick. Yeah, he got sent home the next night. I was like, Kaitlyn, this fucker's got to go. No, I had nothing to do with it.
Luggage in the shower.
Yeah, he's a dick. But most of the guys, some of the like, the guys we still know today, other than Shawn, were actually quite nice, right? And they obviously, that's not good TV to show that. I will say, but they're in the actual season, like I was happy with my edit. Throughout the season, they actually showed glimpses of the guys being like, he's not as bad as we think, and it just became a Shawn and me thing. And but it was like as far as like I wasn't friends with Jared until Paradise. Like we were friendly after, but we weren't like friends.
Well, I was commenting to Jess kind of how crazy it is, how many guys, like how basically Kaitlyn's season had a really good cast, and how many of the guys became kind of like pillar, like Bachelor Nation, like, I don't know how to say it without sounding corny, but like, you know, Jade's married to Tanner and like Jared's married to Ashley.
You can call us icons.
We called you an icon
Icons.
before you came on. Before you popped on, we called you an icon, okay?
True.
But yeah, no, it's crazy.
I thought that was pretty crazy.
Mhm.
It was a great season for all those reasons. You know, obviously Kaitlyn was a great Bachelorette, and then she had compelling characters and a compelling storyline.
He called them characters too.
A lot of it is luck too, right?
Yeah,
you know,
it's
a
true.
lot of it is that combination of having the story. What's the story? The people's willingness to talk about their story,
And like the right kind of villains. Like you could not make up that JJ and Clint thing. We were going on and on about it earlier with JJ throwing Clint under the bus. I mean, you can't. Yeah. Mwah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, Andy's season, the season before, wasn't rated, like, did terrible. It's not because Andy was a bad Bachelorette or anything. Is that all that, like, I was never really a villain, but like all they had was me being assertive with my time and a bunch of guys who just weren't willing to like put themselves out there. It was always like, hey, bro, go have fun with our girl. And it was always all these man chats who were like, well, he's a great guy, so he'll come back. And like, that was boring. It was just a season full of pros, right? And it just wasn't anyone willing to like say anything sincere or reasonable. And even Josh, you know, who ended up being a great villain in Paradise, was her pick. And so, you know, he just pretty much coasted through.
He was a great
villain. And so a lot has to do with like, you know, the people who come on. Of course.
Yeah. It's not the lead who makes the show, generally speaking. But Kaitlyn did do a really great job. Also, I want to touch on it real quick because Jess, you and I didn't get a chance to cover it. I am very usually jaded watching this kind of thing, but it was actually really cute when they announced her, or when they offered her Dancing with the Stars, when Chris Harrison did that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kaitlyn's been very expressive about her desire to go on. Super exciting for her.
Did you think that was cute though, Jess? I was like, oh, my icy heart is melted.
Yeah, I cried. I might be fucking pregnant again. I cried through this whole thing. I don't know what my problem is.
What?
When they recap my season, I mean, I've already done Dancing with the Stars, but I'm hoping for some like gift too.
Wait, you're like, what you gonna give me, Chris? Are you?
Like, you have a big surprise? You got a car for me, or
will you become the new host? That's the biggest question.
Why would Chris ever retire? I don't want to be the host.
I know. I thought that was hilarious. And he's like, I got to put the kids through college. And I'm like, bitch, you could put like 2,000 kids through college every year with your salary.
Yeah, he's doing fine.
He's all right. I'm like, so is this home studio in like the back house is this in your Miami home or your London home or your LA home? Which one is it? He was thriving.
Yeah.
So are you nervous about your season airing? Or are you excited just like rewatching your breakup?
Oh, I can't wait.
I'm fine with it. I don't have any like, obviously again, there's some great characters. You have obviously Rachel being the first Black lead. And so I know they're not recapping Rachel's season.
They're not?
Well, they don't actually, I don't know the details, but they don't own the licensing for some reason. It's the same reason they're not recapping Emily Maynard's, because like Emily Maynard's season.
Yeah, I know. We were hoping that they would do her season.
No, so like there's some licensing issues. I don't know. I mean, they're not allowed to air Rachel's season. That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
It's also a bummer for Emily because I watched Emily's back. I watched it back after filming Ari's season, and I was like, holy shit, this season is so fucking good. And by the way, that breakup is horrible too, Ari and Emily's.
That was a horrible breakup.
I don't remember. I saw a couple episodes. I wasn't like a fan then, but I remember it being a really popular season.
I mean, her story was like insane, like her where she was coming from,
and such a babe. I mean, like
totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no reservations. I don't have any.
Your season was so good. I loved it.
You know, Corinne, Rachel, Raven, you know, they'll even talk probably about, night one, with Liz showing up.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That played out horribly. Your season feels like it was yesterday. I felt the same way with Kaitlyn's, but now even just thinking about back with your season, I like remember the specific dates. I remember New Orleans. It's just like I was there.
Yeah, it was a good season. It should be fun. Again, let's get those follows, baby.
We just had Taylor on last week, which is really great. Because poor thing, I couldn't stand her on your season, and then talking to her on the podcast, I was like, "Oh, you're a really great person." But there's a lot of
people grow up a lot in 3 years.
There's a lot of noteworthy stuff from your season, though. That being said,
totally.
Okay,
yeah.
What I do want to talk about, though, one, your thoughts on. We might as well get them while you're here. Thoughts on Matt James as the new Bachelor. Also, well, let's start there.
Well, I think it's great. I did an interview earlier today. It's a great first step, and hopefully many more. I mean,
an interview with Matt?
No, not with Matt. Just like another interview. People asking me this question. I think Matt said it best in his interview. It's never too late to start doing the right thing. I don't think ABC should be praised for it. I don't think they should be commended. It's the bare minimum. And
totally.
They seem sincere, or like a lot of people, and having some real change, but that is going to take time. Can't happen overnight. Quite honestly, I think even Rachel had some criticism of like, you didn't have to do it immediately, like you didn't have to do it the week of when all this other stuff was going on.
Yeah. Well, what are your thoughts on us? What are your thoughts on us not like being able to get to know him at all before he becomes the Bachelor?
Well, I mean, that was, if you wanted a Bachelor to be a person of color and specifically Black for the next Bachelor season, given the extraordinary times that we're in with COVID and Claire's season being delayed. And as far as, Matt James ending up on Claire's season, that pretty much wasn't going to happen after the whole cameo escapade.
I know, that's what you're saying.
So listen, this is like the next best thing. He is, he's best friends with one of the most popular current people currently in Bachelor Nation. And now that they know he is the Bachelor, they're certainly going to use Claire's season to help you get to know him. I don't know what that means.
That's exactly what you're saying. Jess is like, are we going to zoom him in? Like, what's going on with Matt now?
Like a daily Matt chat.
No, you'll definitely, they're going to have some sit downs with Chris and Matt for sure. Right. Like you have a whole season to, listen, it's going to be Claire's season. You're going to have the focus on Claire, but they will use this airtime as an opportunity to help you get to know James. I also think, so what? Like people are going to care. It's a big deal. And certainly you can nitpick it, but overall it's a great thing.
Yeah.
And hopefully hopefully it's the first of many progressive and new things to come.
And deliberate choices, I think, on the part of the franchise. I thought Rachel made such a good point. I listened to her and Becca's episode.
Rachel was fantastic. Rachel was fantastic. It wasn't the best for Becca.
Well, I wanted to say she made a really good point, though, talking about like diversity in the franchise. And she was like, when we watched the producers bring in Christian for Demi, she made the specific point where she was like, then you made it clear that you can do whatever the fuck you want in the show. And this excuse about like not being the right time or not having the right person to have a Black lead was like, is bullshit.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah. They can do whatever the hell they want. They certainly have the resources. Whether they choose to use those resources or want to spend the money.
And the audience will go along with it. Also, I guess Reality Steve made the point that actually, no hate to Becca, but that Becca's season actually got lower ratings than Rachel when they were citing ratings as like a reason to not cast a Black lead. Apparently, Reality Steve said that Rachel's ratings were actually better.
I don't know anything about. Yeah, I don't.
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I don't think Becca's season was all that interesting.
No, again, that has to do, I think, partly just, the cast was not, there was nothing really.
Hey, listen,
happening.
I keep saying this because like being a good Bachelor contestant or a Bachelor lead has nothing to do with you as a human being. Just so to say that you were boring TV is it's not a criticism as anyone as a human being.
Well, and also circumstances really help it. Like if you just have the right amalgamation of people.
Becca was the Bachelorette because of the Ari breakup.
Right.
You know, and Let's Do the Damn Thing was only going to carry so much, you know, like after a while, I was like, and Becca's I don't know her that well, but very nice and
she's very sweet,
not offensive person. Mm-hmm. Kaitlyn was a great Bachelorette because, and I say this as a compliment, was a little sloppy.
Yeah. Well, she's
sloppy in the fact that like Kaitlyn's, most of the time in life, sometimes our biggest strengths are also our biggest weaknesses. You know, so Kaitlyn's biggest strength is her ability to be present in the moment, to really just emote whatever she's feeling in that moment. Mm-hmm. That allowed her to take things as far as she did with both Shawn and I, where other people are just like, I can't do this. I don't know how it's going to look. I want to be a little bit more careful, a little bit more measured. And that also can be really good. But from a TV standpoint, it also can be really boring and not interesting. So that made Kaitlyn a really great Bachelorette because, you know, and she certainly got criticism for it at the time, you know.
I wonder if I'm going to get airtime when we recap Ari's season.
Are they recapping Ari's season?
I think so. I don't know, actually.
I don't know. I haven't seen clips of it.
They're showing clips of him and Becca. They're doing a lot of that, but I don't know if that's just a lead in into recapping Becca's season. But I thought that maybe they would, considering that like one, he had this whole switcheroo thing, which is so dramatic, and how him and Lauren are a success story. So
possible. My gut tells me they're not, but I don't know.
Oh, interesting. It sort of seems like we were just commenting how it seems like they're just doing like the last 5 years, but I guess if they're jumping back to like.
No, they're jumping back. I think they're trying to mix it up a little bit. I don't know the full lineup. I know they're doing mine. I think they're having a week with like, I think they're combining like the first 2 seasons.
The first 2 seasons ever?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's going to be interesting. I haven't watched
it's more about like, but it's even like, it's hard for them to do it because it's like, it's not recorded in high def, right?
Yeah, it's not so grainy.
It's so different. And it's just like.
And the fashion, my God.
I don't really know for sure.
Okay, broads, we have to pause for one quick second. Listen, grocery shopping has never been easier thanks to a plethora of online options that are available now. And as a mom to a little one, I can only say thank God. If you've ever tried to grocery shop with a grumpy 4-year-old, I know you feel me. And right now, we try to avoid going to the grocery store in person anyways. But here's the thing. Without a doubt, hands down, like hard hands down, my favorite place to online shop for high quality organic groceries is Thrive Market.
Oh my gosh. If you have a picky eater at home, or maybe you follow a specific eating plan, or if you have food allergies, Thrive Market is the place for easy shopping. They tailor to over 70 different diets and values like paleo, keto, plant-based, and vegan. Plus, they offer clean beauty products. It's one of my favorite things to shop for on Thrive. They also have pet staples and non-toxic cleaning supplies. They're really a one-stop shop.
And when you sign up to be a Thrive Market member, which gets you access to all the great deals, they provide a membership match for a low-income family, a teacher, a veteran, or first responder. So you can eat good while doing some good. So it's what's not to love. I love that piece of Thrive Market. And as a Thrive Market member, you'll save 25 to 30% off traditional retail prices, and their carbon neutral shipping is free on all orders over $49. I love using my membership so much. I am always shocked by how much money I save. Like, I find all my favorite clean products and food brands that I want to buy anyways, but for this magically lower price that I just am always thrown off and shocked by. And when that total price comes up, I'm always just like, oh my God, thank you, Thrive Market, for providing for us. We are out here thriving. Bless.
Try Thrive Market and become a member risk-free. Go to thrivemarket.com/chatty, join today, and you'll get up to $20 in shopping credit towards your first order. That's THRIVE thrivemarket.com/chatty to start your risk-free membership, and you can get up to $20 towards your first order. thrivemarket.com/chatty.
Okay, broads, let's talk candidly for a quick second here. Why is that any little change in life has the potential to disrupt our sex lives? Like anything, a busy day at work, a schedule shift, the gravity of the moon. Okay, maybe not that. I don't know. Maybe it feels like it to me. But listen, you can and should embrace self-care and take your own sexual satisfaction into your own hands with O-Shot 100% natural sex lube. O-Shot has helped thousands reclaim their sex lives. It was created by the amazing women of O-Shot. They know what they're talking about. It's made with coconut oil, hemp, and a variety of all natural botanicals like kava root, peppermint, cinnamon, and vanilla. The formula is completely non-toxic, safe for your precious parts, and totally edible, which is a major bonus if you ask me. And Becca and I have said it 1,000 times, but we are both sensitive broads, and O-Shot is the one lube that is just always 100% spot on for us. No irritation, phenomenal. And I'll tell you, broads, from experience, this is a must try. O-Shot increases blood flow to your intimate areas, which enhances sensitivity and it increases natural lubrication. It's perfect for self-love or if you're looking to spice things up with a partner. The natural arousal oil gently warms within 10 minutes of application, and the effects last up to an hour. An hour of pure bliss, I say. Trust. Now, listen up, broads, because O-Shot is offering listeners 20% off O-Shot plus free shipping. Just go to oshotcbd.com today and enter code CHATTY. That's oshotcbd.com and enter code CHATTY to get 20% off O-Shot and other products on their site. You'll thank us later. That's oshotcbd.com and enter code CHATTY.
One other thing that is kind of related to what we were just talking about. So Garret was supposed to come. So when we're recording this, you haven't dropped your episode yet. I want to hear about your episode.
Well, I mentioned on my episode that's out today why Garret didn't come on. And
today is in Tuesday?
Monday.
Oh, as in Monday. Okay. Okay.
It's always fun. People are never short of opinions. And I assume they would be in terms of like, listen, ultimately I had a conversation with Garret and he chose.
He was supposed to come on, right?
He was supposed to come on. Him and Becca were going to come on up until the day before. And I said, I was like, I want to have a conversation with him because I just wasn't interested in having him on for us to sit there and have a debate about whether Black Lives Matter versus whether cops' lives matter. Like, that's not a discussion I'm interested in giving him a platform to have.
Yeah.
Because I think cops' lives matter. That has nothing to do with simply not feeling the need to say, but also, or whatever when it comes to that. Yes. And so, so
did you make that clear to him? Like, I don't want to have the,
I'm not trying to get into police reform. Like, that's not a discussion I need to have. This is about optics. This is about this is about you saying you've learned. This is about you saying you've grown over the past few years and demonstrating on your social that you have not, and having a discussion about that. And these are the questions I want to ask you. And I was like, listen, I don't want you to come on and feel like, what kind of questions is he going to ask me? Am I going to try to, these got you questions? I want to, this is what I want to ask you. But like, be prepared to answer them. And I am going to challenge you because I have a strong belief on this. And long story short, it became clear to me that I personally didn't feel like he really had any
thing to add
growth. It seemed like he was still like, it seemed like he felt like he knew that a lot of people disagreed with what he did. He knew that his fiance disagreed with what he did. And he was still grasping at the not understanding what the big deal was, which is disappointing. And ultimately, so I got off the call and I told him what I was going to ask him. And I said, think about it and let me know. And, 45 minutes, an hour later, he sent me a text and said he didn't think it was the best and that our conversation might create more frustration. And he had some learning and reflection to do, which I said on my podcast, I at least respect him to do that. Like he didn't have to write back.
No.
I have asked Hannah Brown to come on the podcast since I've been critical of her, and he hasn't written back, and that's fine. But for other people, are just like, well, why don't you give Hannah a chance if you're going to give Garret a chance? It's like any of these people are welcome to come on my podcast, right? Like Madison Pruitt, welcome to come on my podcast. It's not my fault they choose to like not want to come on, and have a discussion. And so
all three at once, it's perfect.
But, so Becca came on and I said I wanted to have a discussion with him about like what it was like to be in a relationship where you have some disagreements when it comes to
what is it like to be in a relationship with an asshole? Why don't you tell us that?
Well, that's the thing. I don't think Garrett's an asshole. I think he
is. 100%.
I think he's incredibly ignorant.
Bro, no, this is the thing. Like, I'm not even talking about his Blue Lives Matter. I'm talking about when he's like screenshotting me and his conversation saying that I'm not invited over. That's being a fucking asshole. You're right.
Yeah, I guess I forgot about that. I was. Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have to make this note.
You did then dedicate though $1,000 in his name and post that to going against police brutality.
Yes, it was very small font,
which was
people
the shade that we all lived for.
Well, I also not just.
I mean, like,
what was his point of doing that? To say you once Garret, it wasn't like. I mean, I can't speak.
Is that supposed to make me look bad? Like that? I didn't understand.
Because you gave him the benefit of the doubt and he proved you wrong.
And then I also didn't understand because then he screenshotted my DM to him where I was like, "No, I said I'm sorry for giving you shit because at the time I thought you actually cared." And he screenshotted that like, in case you guys want to know what's going down. And I'm like, well, thank you for sharing my perspective because now I don't have to defend myself. You did it for me. Thank you, sir. Like, what? Anyway.
It's fun. I say this on my podcast. I grew up in a very conservative household. I'm different. Like, I'm clearly different than Garret in the fact that like he seems to only want to hunt and fish, and that's my nightmare.
You like rollerblading.
I like to roller skate.
Yeah.
And paint.
Roller skate, excuse me.
Clearly there's some differences in our interests in life, but we both come from conservative upbringing. There's nothing wrong. I'm not shitting on being
as do I. Like, as do we. Yeah.
I'm simply saying that if you grow up in a world that is very isolated and you, for the most part, only hear the perspectives of people who think and look like you, you really have to challenge yourself to get other points of views and be open to learning what that is. And so again, we spend too much time in this world now. And I understand it's very easy to get defensive and say, well, I'm not racist. And Garret said something I won't repeat, but I simply said, listen, you got to start putting yourself in other people's shoes. You can be racially insensitive and not necessarily be racist, right? Just because you recognize that people of color are your equals, right? You recognize that they should have equal rights. Doesn't mean that you can't say or do something that is ignorant or insensitive. And sometimes that comes from just growing up in a world where you just, again, it's that we talk about privilege. It's not ever taking the time to go, well, what is it like from their point of view day in and day out? I text Garret that night. I was watching the 13th on Netflix. I don't know if either of you have watched that.
Incredible. Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I said, hey, listen, if you're open to learning, I suggest you watch that. That was a week ago. I haven't heard from him. He did post something the other day about he apparently has, read like a Roman emperor.
What was it, Marcus Aurelius or something like that?
You're learning by reading the thoughts of an old white dude from like.
I saw someone's quote and someone quoted in the comment. They said, by turning frequently to authors such as Marcus Aurelius and Ovid, they attempt to perpetuate the idea that white men are the guardians of intellectual authority, especially when such authority is under threat from women and people of color. And I was like, oh shit, someone went off.
I mean, again, I'm not trying to shit on Garret. It's tone deaf. It's just like, that just is another example. He doesn't get it. I don't know if he's watched the 13th. He doesn't need to take every recommendation I give him, but that's simply, it's like a streaming show on Netflix. It's so easy to just take an hour and a half of your day and watch it and, and learn about, something that's relative to our history, not too far, and gives you a different point of view that might help you see another, and instead of reading a fucking, shit from his favorite movie Gladiator,
I mean, look, I think Hannah Brand was talking about this on one of her lives or videos too. Also, what are we defining racist as? Is it the people in KKK hats who are trying to lynch black people? When we're talking about racism, there's so much more of a spectrum of microaggressions and whose feelings are you prioritizing and all these other things. It's not just as simple as the kind of people that are, I don't know.
Well, example I used on my podcast with Tyler Merritt is, I think the average white person, and again, I include myself, is that we watch these movies like The Help or A Time to Kill or Selma, right? And these movies are historical movies that focus on race. And they show this kind of overt and egregious racism, right? And we watch it as white people and we think, oh, that is so racist. Horrible. That is so wrong. That is horrible. I would never do that. Oh my God, that is disgusting. How could anyone do that? And we have all these thoughts. We feel very good about ourselves about not being racist, right? But as you mentioned, Becca, there's more to that. We say things that, again, we don't realize. We're not trying to be racist, but we could possibly be offensive. And, we have to be willing to say, well, wait, before I say what is racist or not racist, maybe I should stop asking other white people what's racist. And maybe I should talk to people of color and be like, does this offend you? Because if it does, I'm sorry, I'll stop saying and doing this.
Yeah. And if anyone says it's offensive, just take a minute to think about it and unpack it instead of this knee jerk, what? No, I would never. I love black people. I have a black cousin. I'd just chill and just think about it.
So I don't know. I unfortunately, since my conversation with Garret, I have my doubts of whether he's really ever going to have the growth that he says he desires to have. And that's disappointing, but I hope to be wrong. And yeah.
So you ended up having Becca on your episode? I'm going to go.
No.
Oh, no, you didn't.
No. I mean, I didn't really,
I don't know.
What's the point of having Becca on? And this was Becca knew it wasn't Becca had it was on the phone and she knew that she had just listened to her and Rachel's podcast. I got the sense that Becca wanted to come on and maybe get another bite at the apple because she knew she kind of missed the mark with Rachel.
It didn't go so well.
But I was talking to her, listen, I mean, it's a tough spot Becca's in because the only way Becca can effectively answer this question is to, quite honestly, pick a side. And what I mean by that is she can't come on and say, I don't agree with Garret. Garrett's wrong. And then say, but. Even if that but is, he means well.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't, I know. Unless you're saying he's got the mental capacity of a child, then he has the ability to strip down some layers of learning.
Right. That's what Rachel kept saying on the episode. She's like, Garrett's not stupid. Rachel kept saying that.
And tensions only get you so far. And so that's not an excuse. So Becca only can come on and say, I love Garret. He is the love of my life. And everything he did was wrong. And I hope that as his loving fiance, we can get to a place where we can at least respect each other's points of view. But I need to see some growth from him because this was as heartbreaking to me as it was to everyone else. Had she said that, then everyone would be like, yeah. But she had to be like, but he's nice. He's just a nice little ignorant person. He's really sweet about it. And again,
the last 15 minutes really just kind of did it in. It was just Well, I was looking forward to seeing if he could grow and see what he was going to be posting about, but he's blocked me for some reason. So
so he blocked Jess and get this, Nick. Nick, listen, he blocked Jess and the Chatty Broads account. I don't know why. We didn't even really talk about him last week, but I'm not blocked.
I'm checking to see if I'm blocked.
Are you blocked? Because here's the thing. I really didn't say much about him. We didn't talk much about him on our last week's episode. I didn't comment on his post. I don't understand.
Yeah, no.
I never got blocked.
Well, here's what I don't get is that.
Are you blocked?
So no, I'm still blocked.
Okay, well, at least I'm not.
And
blocked.
is Viall files blocked too?
No, it's not. Not that I know of. I don't.
Chatty Broads and myself is blocked. So.
Well, like when he first posted the Blue Lives Matter post, I saw it, people commenting on Twitter. So I was like, oh, what did Garret fucking do? And I went to go look, right? Having never been on his Instagram page ever. Right. And only to be like, why can't I find this guy's account? Like, and then I was like, this motherfucker had me blocked.
Preemptively blocked you?
I don't know when he blocked me, but I had been blocked. I had never spoken with Garret ever. So then I went on the Viall Files account to look, and that's why I wrote my comments via the Viall Files account, because he didn't have me blocked. I didn't ask him
deleted.
I didn't ask him on the phone why he had me blocked, but
I think he deleted. Oh, you should have. Damn it.
Did he delete some of the
He
comments?
deleted the Viall Files one, but
did he?
then he did. Yeah, and then he did,
Yeah.
and then I was also like, I saw people
That's
saying
real
this too.
disappointing, because I was really gracious.
Yeah, it was
on
a
my
very.
podcast about like explaining why, and
But I'm confused. He didn't block me, and then he also screenshotted mine and post. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not getting the logic.
I just
And
was
quite
looking.
frankly, I'm offended.
After you put out your episode, Nick, I was like, oh, I'm curious what he posted. And I tried to go on and I like, did his account disappear? And then I'm like, did he block me? And then I went on Chatty Broads and I still can't find his account. And then I grabbed my husband's phone and I'm like, hold on a second. And there he was. I'm like, well, here I am, blocked. Now I can't find out if he's going to post more about Becca.
I don't. Unfortunately, like, I had a conversation with Garret last Friday. I recorded my intro for the podcast that dropped today.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, it seems like, I mean, again, I'm not Garrett's keeper. I have more and more doubts whether he ever really is interested in actually growing. And, that's his journey, and so be it. It's disappointing. He deleted those comments, and it's, I'm glad he chose not to come on my podcast and respectfully not try to defend like his case. I wasn't interested in giving him a platform to do that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it is disappointing that he's more interested in reading Marcus Aurelius than
Probably the recommended reading people are putting out.
It makes fucking sense. It's just, I don't know.
Well, Garret, if you're listening, please unblock me because I'm just curious to see your posts. Thanks.
I'll just say, like I said,
And Chatty Broads.
The last thing I said to him is like, Garret, imagine when you liked those insensitive posts, that for all the white people like ourselves who are quick to, criticize and et cetera, et cetera. Maybe there was a handful of people of color who said, you know what? I've heard worse. I've had worse say to me. I'm going to give Garret the benefit of the doubt. I can see, he made a mistake. He likes some stuff. And they chose to, maybe they're avid hunters and fishers. I don't fucking know. And they decided to keep following you. And they were just waiting for an opportunity where you could demonstrate your growth. And this opportunity came, and the first opportunity you had, you put this shit out. Like imagine, like you literally posted a black box and then cryptically kind of subtly say "fuck you" by posting an "All Lives Matter" emoji caption. And then, like, can you appreciate how that might make someone feel? Like, and you can't say that you don't want to be in the public eye. Delete your Instagram if you don't want to do that.
Well, yeah, or keep, yeah. I mean, it's so like flagrant when you then post a dissertation about cop lives mattering after all you have is some emojis for Black Lives Matter.
And this idea, Becca, for example, like I keep saying my brother's a cop, and it doesn't mean I know what it's like to be a cop, it doesn't mean I've even in life, forget about his profession versus what I do. Like, we have different points of view on life. Yeah. I empathize for my brother. I love my brother unconditionally, but apparently Garret was like, well, and Becca said, well, he had a cop this happened to a cop friend, and that's why you posted that. Well, again, you're pointing out and you're pointing out why, yes, this happened to you. It personally affected you. Therefore, that's why you did what you did.
Empathy is, that also demonstrates
that's
that
why everyone else is doing this. Yeah.
And your empathy can't be limited to the proximity of the people in your life. Sure. So if you can only empathize with people whose experiences you understand, then you're setting yourself up to be a shitty person.
Well, not only that,
it's also the definition of privilege. Like when it affects you, then it hurts. And
why can't you, if you can recognize that, why can't you say, well, while I don't know what it's like to be a black person, I can appreciate why black people are hurt and frustrated and scared and about seeing another black person be killed by cops. Like, how can you make that one connection and not?
Right, exactly. I can understand how it feels to see someone get murdered who's a cop. So I can understand what it must feel like to see someone get, which even then,
and I know cops really and I know they're good people, and it's just like, huh? I mean, I don't.
Wow.
So interesting times we are in, but I thought it could have been a good episode, but
yeah.
My guess is had they come on, it would have been a lot of Becca talking, a lot of me talking, and Garret saying very few things, some of which I think probably would have made things worse and not better.
Well, and you know what? there's better opportunities for better guests. Sorry, Garret. I mean, I haven't listened to your episode last week, but I saw a clip on the Viall Files Instagram, and it's like, we can have opportunities to share our platform with like black people and amplify their voices instead of voices like Garrett's.
Or Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius.
I mean, like, that's just so, like, you fucking kidding me?
I know I saw that this morning and I was like, what? I like the photos too.
Yeah, the photos. The
photos are really nice.
Like, I mean, I can't look at them anymore, so.
What's the other photo?
This one's him just staring into the mountains.
Another Marcus Aurelius quote?
Yeah, there's two.
He has two fucking Marcus Aurelius quotes?
Yeah.
He's really on a Marcus binge right now.
Yeah, one from 2 days ago with this photo, and then the one from 1 day ago.
That's the problem when I record my episodes contemplative. Early. And like, I wasn't like, but I was soft on Garret in my explanation, saying, but.
Yesterday's was Principle 7, be open to correction. Being corrected is better than remaining in self-deceit, blah, 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 blah.
So I'm going to give him a little bit of recommendation. A way that you can work on learning how to be corrected is by not deleting people's comments and blocking people. Just a thought.
Should I write that on the Viall Files?
I think you should.
Okay, Nick, thank you so much for coming on. We had a blast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for blessing our screen, and we're excited to watch your season in a couple weeks here.
Can't wait.
As always, ladies, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Go listen to Viall Files, people.
Love you. Thank you so much. And
thanks, ladies. All right.
Great chatting. Bye.
Talk later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much again to Nick for coming on. We had a blast, as always.
You so
Sorry,
much,
broads,
Nick.
for their tangential ranting.
Yeah, you know what? What is a Kaitlyn recap without going off about Garret? Am I right?
Wouldn't be the same without it. I'm so sorry, broads, for the past 30 minutes. If you didn't want to hear any more about that shit.
This is a Kaitlyn recap. We're going to talk all about Kaitlyn's season. So fucking Garret, am I right? Am I right? Oh my gosh.
Sarcasm.
Okay, well, we do have to say though, so towards the end, a few things. Number one, I have to say that it's interesting that they did not include Shawn's proposal, nor any of their relationship.
Shawn was like basically edited out.
Shawn was practically shaded out of this entire thing, which was pretty crazy to me.
I thought that was interesting.
It was interesting. I'm like, someone's not a bachelor baby and is not.
I feel like Shawn, I don't actually have anything to base this off of. I don't remember any kind of quote or anything like that. But I do feel like Shawn is basically like, fuck this shit, don't bother me anymore. Was sort of like, seemed like was his attitude following the breakup.
Yeah,
and
maybe he
everything.
wouldn't do any sort of interviews or anything like that. But Kaitlyn, though she was with Shawn for then many years afterwards, ended up finding her Bachelor King in Jason. And we got an announcement.
Can we talk about?
Yeah, please.
Well, we already covered the her getting picked, which is exciting. It was really sweet. Can we just talk about how awkward though of like the she thought he was proposing? Not on her part, but it was just like so with Jason and Chris Harrison.
Dude, I was so uncomfortable. You know what also
Why did Chris Harrison say that first of all?
First of all, Chris
I am
Harrison,
an officiant. They're not engaged.
No. What's your problem? Second, it makes it all more awkward when Chris Harrison's sitting on his desk and looking at the TV like this the whole time. And you're watching him like look at the TV like it's a fucking show from the 1980s, like it's a news channel from the 1980s, 1970s. Like,
should we start recording that like that? Should I put a video monitor next to me of
and
you?
Talk to me like this.
Oh, you know what? That's another important quick note to make. Obviously, pretty much everyone's reintegrating back into normal life with COVID. And so I asked Jess, I was like, can we do just a few more, like maybe 3 or 4 weeks post baby remotely. And then I think for the most part, we'll be back to our normal programming, which I hope you all
even
are
though
excited
let's
to hear.
also be real, like, you know, our sounds like we're in the same room together most of the time. So like if you're not watching, you don't even really know.
Our audio producer is fire.
He is fire, and I sleep with him on a regular basis, but not as much during quarantine because quarantine hasn't been as sexy.
Quarantine is ruining our lives, but
we're getting a divorce, but he's still going to keep doing our audio.
We have him on salary, so
because it's so fire flame.
Contractually. Anyway, I just wanted to make that note too, in case people are like, I wonder how long you guys are going to have separate video monitors at home. Yeah, no, that moment was so awkward though.
It was so uncomfortable. And I felt really bad for her too, because it was like she jokingly grabbed Jason's pocket like, oh, sure, Chris Harrison, and then found what seemed to be a tiny box.
I would be so mad though if that's how someone proposed to me, which was with on FaceTime with Chris Harrison.
Oh.
After recapping my breakups.
I would be furious. Also, not knowing too, like at that point when they were recording this, she probably hadn't watched, like they didn't have the show put together yet. So she had no idea how they were going to make her look, how they were going to make everything like come off. And she's probably so nervous about having this like moment, and then brings Jason on. And then if he were to have proposed, that would have surprised me. Jason seems like a smart guy. He doesn't seem like... He's
gonna wait for the Dancing with the Stars finale, okay?
Oh, girl. Now that's what I was.
That was my first thought.
Oh, but what if it's contingent on if she wins or not? He's a little bit like, listen.
No,
if you
Jason,
get to the top two,
talk about politicians. Jason, it's gonna be if she loses, because then he's gonna be like, you're always winning, like in my heart, and like every day is a dance with you, and like, will you do this eternal tango with me? And then we'll get down on one knee. You heard it here first.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Also, wow, talk about an incredible ballot if that was on a card. Ben Higgins and Jason. I mean, those are two politicians running mate. Come on. I don't know who would be
Ben would run for president, and I feel like Jason would be the vice president, but Ben would be the puppet, and Jason would be pulling the strings the whole time.
Yes. Exactly. or maybe like Jason might be like, I don't know, the press secretary or the campaign manager. I could see Jason coming and doing the speeches and being like, this is actually what Mr. President meant.
The PR manager.
I know that yesterday Mr. President went to a public school and told all the children that they had to fall in love before having sex. But what Mr. President
Jason could turn it around and would be like, love is love. What he was saying is that sex and love are part of this beautiful dance of life, and it doesn't matter who you love. You know what? Let's talk about president campaign, or what do you call it? What is someone's running? God damn it. Presidential candidate Higgins' stance on love and how all people deserve love.
Love wins.
Guys, I'm just telling you, hop on this opportunity.
I don't know what we might have cracked open here, but I mean, was this Kaitlyn recap all over the place? Maybe, but you know what? At the end of the day, we figured out the future of our country, including Ben and Jason, and I feel like we're all going to be fine.
It's in Ben and Jason's hands.
We're all going to be okay.
Team BJ. I'll make buttons. You can get them on our site.
Okay, now that's going to be the new shirt. We're going to have a campaign shirt for Ben Higgins and Jason, and they're going to have no idea. They're going to say, have no idea what's going on, and be like, why are all these
like that
Bachelor fans talking about us running for president?
I love it. I'm down to like have both of us come on with their faces on shirts, and they're
absolutely. Absolutely. I'll plaster them all over.
Love it. Well, Broads, thank you for tuning into this wild roller coaster ride.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm super excited to recap, our future president's episode next week, his season recap. Becca may or may not.
I hope I'm not joining. Like, I hope.
Yeah, I hope for your sake that you will have gone into labor at this point.
You know what? I'm just my due date's in 2 days, by the way, for those curious. I'm just hoping that I have a Gemini baby.
Yeah.
And I don't appreciate the Gemini hate in my DMs of people slandering my fellow air sign's name. I love Geminis, and I personally have had less pleasant experience with Cancers.
And now we have the Cancer shade. Hey, I am a Gemini rising, so I'm offended as well. I come off as a Gemini to people, so that
I forgot you're a Gemini rising.
I am.
Us air sign bitches, you know, what are you gonna do?
I know. God, no wonder this recap was all over the place. Just a couple of air signs floating around trying to figure it out.
I mean, I have dated 2 Cancers and slept with many Geminis, and you know, I like Geminis.
And
Cancers
you would like your never mind.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah, horrible. No. But
we're taking that out.
No, my point being is I can understand the Gemini ways, okay?
Yes, indeed.
Anyway, all right. But next week's going to be really fun.
But also, just so you all know, I know that we've been talking about how we're only doing 1 episode now for the next 3 weeks. But what Becca and I decided is that we have some incredible episodes with some amazing Black women who have come on this show before.
Oh my God.
And we wanted to repost those episodes. So and also hopefully you can go support. Some of them have like, you know, functioning like businesses that you can, or services that you can go and support. Yes, they have businesses, they have podcasts. Also, it is Pride Month right now, and some of these women are queer women, so we thought that this would be just a perfect like fun conversation, and they're 3 of our favorite episodes that we've ever had. And most of you broads who have listened to it or listened to them absolutely love the episodes. And I know we have a lot of new listeners, so I think that it's going to be exciting. So on Thursday, we'll be dropping one, and then next Thursday until we get back into the...
so enjoy that bonus content. And I think some of them, even if you've already listened, are worth the re-listen. They really are fantastic episodes.
I've listened to a few of them numerous times. And it's not to hear my own voice, broads. It's not to hear my own voice.
Well, and with that, we will chat soon.
We'll chat soon.